Priya Vaishnavasya Shri Jagannathaya Te Namaha Vancha Kalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhobhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Mahavadanya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratushe Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jetam Surato Pango Mama Mandamatirgati Vatsarvasvabadambojo Radha Madana Mohano Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadaha Srimad Ratnagara Simhasanasto Srimad Radha Srila Govinda Devo Krishtalibi Sevyamano Smarami Shriman Rasarasarambhi Vamsi Vata Tatastitaha Karshanvenu Swaner Gopi Gopinatha Shriyestunaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. Welcome all your devotees. It's good to be back with all of you. So I request you all to keep yourself on mute, and when given a chance, you can unmute and read. So I guess His Grace Sakshachut Prabhu would have completed the 9th chapter for all of you last time, 32 to 49. That section he would have taken for all of you. Okay. So now what has happened now is Yudhishthir Maharaj has received the transcendental and divine instructions of Bhishma Dev. If you see the trend of Bhagavatam, Vyasa is having despondency. So Narad Muni comes to meet him. And then Narad Muni tells his story of how he met his gurus, how he got inspiration to become a devotee, how I came to Krishna consciousness, in other words. So there was a series of all talks, how I came to Krishna consciousness. So Narad Muni met the 4 Bhaktivedantas. And then after the Bhaktivedantas left, then Vyasdev asks a very wonderful question to Narada. What is the question he asks? What did you do after Bhaktivedantas left? That is, what did you do after initiation? So many times we all think that, okay, now we have taken Diksha ho gaya, we have taken initiation, life set ho gayi, bas, khatam, aur kuch nahi, we are done. We got back to God and ticket. No, initiation means beginning, shuruat. So now what did you do after that? Then Narad Muni describes further what he does after that. And then he goes on to give inspiration to Vyasdev, Taddiyatura Chittanam, Matrasparshem Chayamuhu, Pavasindhu Pravakishno, Haricharyanu. So he gives that particular instruction and he moves. And then the Saunakadi Rishis asked Sutta Goswami that what did Vyasdev do? What did Vyasdev do after receiving instruction from Narada? So we are more interested, what did he do? Okay, then there is a description of how Vyasdev sat in complete Bhakti Yoga in Manasi Samyak Praniti Amune. He sat in Bhakti Yoga and then Apashyat Purusham Purnam Mayam Chatadapashrayam. He saw darshan of Krishna, Maya along with that. And then he compiled the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. So now what has happened is Yudhishthir Maharaj has received instructions from Bhishma. So a very obvious question that has to come is, what did Yudhishthir do after receiving these instructions? Correct? So that is a connection to the beginning of the 10th chapter, which is entitled Departure of Lord Krishna for Dwarka. I'll just show you the section, the breakup of the section that we're going to see today and also overall of this chapter. Okay, today 29th of July. So the first part of this chapter will describe of how Yudhishthir Maharaj ruled. That means what did he do? How did he implement the instructions of Bhishma? Then from 7 to 14, we will see the devotees exhibiting different emotions of separation. The Vipralamba Bhav starts to creep in even when Krishna is there, right? So even when Krishna is there, they have started feeling separation. Krishna is not yet left, but they're feeling that separation right away. How are we supposed to live without Krishna? Then Krishna is honored in different ways before he departs. So this will be our theme of discussion for today. And tomorrow we'll continue this chapter where we'll discuss a very special prajalpa happening. Anyonya Masit Sanjalpa Kauravendra Purastrinam Sarva Shruti Manohara. So we are going to see some ladies talking amongst each other, but that is a special prajalpa happening because it's about Krishna. Of course, Jalpa means to talk. Prakrishta Rupena Jalpa is Prajalpa. But this is Sanjalpa. They're all together indulging in this is a special type of Krishna conscious talks which are happening. And then finally Krishna will depart for Dwarka. So this is this chapter. So we're planning to cover this weekend. Okay, so today's our objective will be to cover these 19 shlokas. So let's begin with the first 6 shlokas, which is about how Yudhishthira Maharaj ruled. But before that, Shaunaka Rishis are asking, that's a link. They ask, what did Yudhishthira do after he received the instruction? What did he do? Shaunaka Uvacha Hatva Swarikta Sprida Atatayino Yudhishthiro Dharma Pratam Varishtah Sahanujai Pratyavarudha Bhojana Katam Pravritta Kimakarishi Tata. Somebody can read.
Shaunak Muni asked, after killing his enemies who desired to usurp his rightful inheritance, how did the greatest of all religious men, Maharaj Yudhishthir, assisted by his brothers, rule his subjects? Surely he could not freely enjoy his kingdom with unrestricted consciousness.
Very nice. Thank you. They were sure of one thing, that Yudhishthira Maharaj was not a sense uncontrolled fellow who just wanted to preserve the kingdom for enjoyment. Absolutely not. Correct? He was a person who was very principle centered. There are two things, always two choices in our life. One choice is choice of principles, another is choice of pleasure. Usually the mind wants pleasure. The intelligence directs us towards principle. And because Yudhishthira Maharaj was well trained in Dharma, yes, he was nicely trained in Shastras and Dharma, he always knew how to pick principles over pleasure. Right? And that's what will make a person wise. Wisdom means to always select principle over pleasure. He was never after pleasure centered. He was principle centered king. That was very clear. But still they wanted to ask, what did he do afterwards? Yeah. So Prabhupada writes in the purport that Yudhishthira Maharaj fought for the right cause. What is the meaning of Duryodhan? Anyone knows? Who fights for the wrong cause is called Duryodhan. Yodha is fighting and Dur means Galat. He fights for the wrong cause, he fights against the wrong party. Yes, he fights with the wrong motive. Everything related to warfare, wrong. That is Duryodhan. But Yudhishthira Maharaj is exactly the opposite of Duryodhan. He always fought for the right cause. Why? Because it was done under the direction of Krishna. He fought under the direction of Krishna. And if you, even when you studied Bhakti Shastri, Arjun had given several reasons why he didn't want to fight. And one of the reasons he mentions is loss of enjoyment. Oh, if I kill all relatives, my all relatives will die. And with whom will I enjoy the kingdom? I'll have nobody to enjoy with. Like, so Yudhishthira Maharaj also faced the same situation. Yes. So his all cousins had left, his relatives had left, Bhishma, Drona, along with whom he actually desired to enjoy the kingdom, weren't there. So what did he do? He just ruled the kingdom as a matter of duty. This is very good consciousness, but to be duty conscious, even if there is no pleasure. But still, the principle is to do duty. That's how he ruled Yudhishthira Maharaj. So he had a very strong purpose of fighting. Even if you read Ramayana, I was reading Ramayana, Yuddha Kanda. So everybody was sick and tired of informing Ravana, "Matlad, don't fight, don't fight." And they used to say, whoever says don't fight, you are my enemy, you get lost. He used to become immediately upset with them. In fact, Ravana had 10 heads. Yes, we all know Ravana had 10 heads, but one head was for one purpose. One head will speak about strategic planning. One head will speak about dharma. Head will speak about artha. One head will give plans for enjoyment, kama. One head will also speak about moksha. So like that, he had 10 heads. And except his one head, all the other 9 heads also told Ravana, give back Sita and don't fight. Still, this fellow's ego was so big that he wanted to fight. This is a foolish mentality, adamant mentality of a demoniac person. So 1 minute, I'll just plug in my charger. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So now he's connected to Parampara. He'll get nourishment. Right? So Ravana, then later on, the final person who comes to meet Ravana is Malyavan. Malyavan is somebody whom Ravana worshipped. He sent out everybody else and he worships Malyavan. And he tells Malyavan, you please teach me the art of warfare because I am determined to do the war. So first thing that Malyavan says is, what is your purpose of fighting? That should be ascertained. Why are you fighting the war? And number two, the second principle that he says, that one should fight a war only when you are assured that you will be able to strike off the enemy completely and we will have very minimal collateral damage, very less damage. Enemy will be wiped off and we will have very, very, very less casualties. Only then we should go for the warfare. Otherwise, we should try to talk and settle matters. Sam, Dam, Ved. Yes, try to settle down by talking. So he also says that principles of war. And Yudhishthira Maharaj had fought only when Duryodhan had become completely unreasonable. So that was the time the war was inevitable. Yeah. Okay, so they wanted to know the attitude of Yudhishthira Maharaj. Did he enjoy the kingdom? After becoming the king, after getting power, what did he do? So that was something which the rishis were interested to know. And Suta Goswami is going to now reply. Suta uvacha Vamsham kurorvamshadavagni nirhritam samrohayitva bhavabhavano harihi niveshayitva nijarajya ishvaro yudhishtiram pritamana bhavuvaha.
Translation: Suta Goswami said, Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the maintainer of the world, became pleased after re-establishing Maharaj Yudhishthir in his own kingdom and after restoring the Kuru dynasty, which had been exhausted by the bamboo fire of anger.
Kurorvamshadavagni. That word is very important. Kurorvamshadavagni. So Kurorvamshadavagni means this, the dynasty of Kurush. There is no cause for the forest fire. Why the forest fire has taken place, we cannot say. Is wind the cause? Oh, this tree must be the cause. No, that tree is the cause. Both, no, true. The wind comes and the two uh, woods, they just abrade by each other. And then there is an ablaze of fire that happens. Correct? So main reason for this kind of fight and warfare is because of the lording over mentality. So Shastras explain that this lording tendency to lord over this material world, this leads to war. Everybody wants to lord over resources, lord over one another, lord over the land, and that leads to warfare. And that's why Shastras very clearly explain Bhukta Bhoga Paritya Drishta Dosha Cha Nityashah Na Ishwarasya Shubham Dakte Swemahimni Stitasya Cha. Give up that lording over mentality. The whole Kapila Dev section, this is the essential verse, quintessential verse, which says after understanding the whole material nature, the 26th chapter, 3rd canto, we will all read it in future. So there, the whole crux of the chapter is to give up lording over mentality. Understand the material nature to give up the lording over mentality. The lording over mentality of Jiva, when it takes a superlative degree, it becomes what? It becomes war. Now we are seeing that there is one war going on between two countries. And future, there are some astrologers who have predicted that in future there's going to be World War III. After a few years, World War IV also is going to come. 2 more world wars are going to happen. All the root cause is lording over tendency. Now here we need to understand, again, the last theme we saw how Lord has beautifully planned things. And the will of Lord is coming out in a very amazing manner. This entire episode also of reinstating back Yudhishthir Maharaj as the king. Yudhishtiram Pritamana Bahuvaha. It was done for pleasure of Lord, nothing else. The pleasure of the Lord was the whole plan, that how Yudhishthir Maharaj will, become the king. And when Yudhishthir Maharaj becomes the king, then what will happen? Then he will execute the purpose of this material world. The whole purpose of creation of this material world is that jivas come back to their senses and desire to go back to Godhead. Asatoma, Sadgamaya, Tamasoma, Jyotirgamaya, Pratyoma, Amritangamaya. I want to go back to Godhead. I don't want to suffer in this illusion. Correct? And that kind of Asatoma, Sadgamaya, Tamasoma, Jyotirgamaya, Mrityoma, Amritangamaya, that will happen when there are leaders, the powerful leaders to wake up the living entities. Uttishtata, Jagrata, Prapyavaranam Nibodata. That's what a leader should say. Uttishtata, get up. If you're sleeping, Jagrata, don't sleep. Prapyavaranam Nibodata, go and attain that supreme goal, which is to go back to Godhead. So this is what the leaders will keep telling in their pravachans, lectures, sermons. And thus the entire population will be very determined. If we look at the times of Yudhishthir Maharaj, Ambarish Maharaj, Gaya Maharaj, all these wonderful kings, the citizens had no other desire than to go back to Godhead. That was the desire of every single citizens. That was the training that they received. So the right scripts that kept, bombarding. We know the effect of sound. You see Hitler, effect of sound. He produced so many sound vibrations, which churned the hearts of all the nationalist party of Germany, and they all came together to construct war machines and fight all other nations. Power of sound. Similarly, we see power of sound again mundane. Another aspect of mundane sound is power of Subhash Chandra Bose. He gave a speech in over the radio. It was broadcasted over radio, and the Indians who had never even come to India, but who were staying in Singapore, Malaysia, and all those areas, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, they all got inspired to fight for Indian freedom struggle. Let's form Indian National Army and fight. They had never even gone to India in their life. They had never even seen what is India. But they got that motivation and inspiration that we should go and fight for the freedom cause. These are all examples of what? Mundane sound vibration. But spiritual sound vibration, Prabhupada. There is one book written. The name of I was recently reading. The name of the book is Kindly Help Me. This is actually Prabhupada's statement. And that's the title of the book written by one of Prabhupada's disciples. The title is Kindly Help Me. That's it. That's the title. And that book is all about book distribution. How Prabhupada really wanted this book distribution to go on. And Prabhupada said that I'll keep living as long and until this book distribution goes on. And book distribution is my heart. Correct? That's my heartbeat, the book distribution. So like that. So that is the whole theme. So Prabhupada's one statement like that, please help me. That is something which Satsvarup Maharaj has compiled very nicely, and it is spreading, and many, many devotees are still getting inspired by that. That is a transcendental sound vibration. So that is one of the duties of leaders, to inspire all their citizens to go back to Godhead. That should be the only goal. Okay. Next. What did Yudhishthira do? Nishamya bhishmoktamathachutoktam pravritta vijnana vibhuta vibhrama shasasagamindra ivajitashrayah paridyupantam anujanuvartitah.
Maharaj Yudhishthir, after being enlightened by what was spoken by Bhishma Dev and Lord Sri Krishna, the infallible, engaged himself in matters of perfect knowledge, because all his misgivings were eradicated. Thus he ruled over the earth and the seas and was followed by his younger brothers.
Nice verse. Nishamya, he heard very attentively. Nishamya, Ishmoktam, Ata Achyuto, Bhishma and Achyuta, both. Even Krishna spoke. Pravritta Vijnana, he progressed in the path of perfect knowledge. And Vibhuta Vibrama, his Vibrama, or all his doubts were finished. Then Shashasa, he took up Shasan, the rule. Gam, Gam is the earth. Indra Iva Ajita Ashraya. He was always protected by Lord. Ajita Ashraya. Now this has been the sum and substance of the Pandavas' life. He never left the shelter of Ajit or Krishna. And somebody who's under the shelter of Ajit will always be Ajit. He will never lose. He was like the Indra, compared to Indra. And Prabhupada will elaborate a little bit more on this. Paridyapantam Anujanuvartita. And all his Anujas, his younger brothers, they were all following him. And Paridhupantam. Now this Paridhupantam is very important. Paridhupantam means including the seas. Yes, even sea, including the seas and rivers. My God, how much to manage? Very difficult. They used to take care of all the sea waters and all the creatures in the sea, Jalacharas, Jalaja, Navalakshani, all of them. So ruling over earth as well as the seas. Now people say Indian Ocean. Does it belong to India? They say Indian Ocean. Does it belong to India? No, it's not like that. Water doesn't belong to India. Not that the Atlantic Ocean belongs to America. It's not. There is no division like that. Water division. Thank God it's not happened. Man can do that. But those days he ruled over the seas and all the Jalacharas also. So here this word Indra is very significant. Prabhupada has commented beautifully on this. This word Indra is mentioned, right? So he says that just as the different Lokapalas, Indra, Chandra, Surya, Varuna, Vayu, they are called Lokapalas. Yes, they are called Lokapalas. So these Lokapalas are given different territories in the universe to rule. They are having beautiful names also. Indra is given territory called Amaravati. Yes, Varuna is given territory called Vibhavari. Yama is given territory which is called Samya Manipur. So they all have different wonderful names also. In the 5th canto, you will study all these things. Structure of universe. They all have been given. So similarly, Yudhishthir Maharaj was calculated as good as Indra, who has been given the area of Bhuloka. He is given Bhu, the earth, rule. So he was calculated as good as the demigods. He was not considered anywhere less than Indra. He is also one of the Lokapalas. He was empowered to that degree. Yes, that is Achyutashraya, the power. So in this world, one reason for war that we saw was lording over tendency. Second reason why people may have a lot of quarreling and warfare because of ideological differences. Yes, there will be. And what is ideological differences? One human being has one particular ideology which is manufactured by his dull brain, and which has 4 defects: imperfect senses, tendency to be illusion, tendency to commit mistake, cheating propensity. So through these 4 defects, one is manufacturing one ideology. And there's another human being who is manufacturing another ideology, which is also of 4 defects. And these 2 ideologies will never match. Yes? Fools will never match. It is said that great souls think alike and fools seldom differ. There's an English proverb. Great souls think alike and fools seldom differ. There are always differences which will be there in the fools. So ideological differences has to happen, and that when the difference grows too much, there is war. But in case of Yudhishthir Maharaj, there was no ideology at all. His ideology was completely borrowed from Shastras, from Bhishma Dev, and from Krishna. Yes, and that is why his ideology is never imperfect. His ideology was perfect. Correct. So Prabhupada expresses the need in the purport that one should have up leaders in such ideology. In fact, Prabhupada, if you read the 4th canto of Bhagavatam, Prithu Maharaj section, he writes that Prithu Maharaj has been the ideal leader for all time. And in fact, Prithu Maharaj, this kind of systems that he had, even in heavenly planets, they started following the systems of Prithu. Heavens and all over the universe, they started following the same system. And even in future, for many years to come, many generations, people all followed Prithu's system of working, how to function, ideal system. Correct. So after hearing all these things, sometimes one may get a feeling that maybe we should become the ideal leaders of society. We should be that king who will rule everybody in Krishna conscious fashion. So once one devotee also expressed same thing to Prabhupada. Said, Prabhupada, you can make so many disciples and you will have so many temples and then you can become the king of the world. And Prabhupada said, yes, that's all right, but I don't want to be king of the world. I want to be the guru of the king of the world. Yes, I want to be the spiritual master of that king of the world. So that is the mood of Srila Prabhupada. That's how it has always been. Okay, so now we saw that how Yudhishthira Maharaj applied the knowledge, he accepted it, assimilated it. And what was the result of that? Result of Yudhishthira Maharaj's rule. That is something mentioned in the 4th, 5th, 6th. Kamam varsha parjanya sarva kamadugamah Shishichosma vrajan gavaha payasodhvatir payasvodvasvatir muda.
During the reign of Maharaj Yudhishthir, the clouds showered all the water that people needed, and the earth produced all the necessities of man in profusion. Due to its fatty milk bag and cheerful attitude, the cow used to moisten the grazing ground with milk.
Thank you. So beautiful system created by demigods. This comes in 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where how Krishna has created 2 types of living beings. Living beings, one category is human beings, second category is demigods. And they have to paraspara bhava. So they have to have a mutual, symbiotic relationship with each other. Annad bhavanti bhutani. Through Anna, we get bhutani, this material body. And how does Anna come? Parjanyad Anna Sambhavaha. Through rains come grains. And then how exactly will Parjanya or the rains come? Yajnad bhavati Parjanyo. When you perform your yajna, sacrifice, then when you do the sacrifice, Parjanya, clouds will come and they will shower rains. And how does yajna perform? Yajna karma samudbhava. When one performs prescribed duties, then that is a sacrifice. It's a great sacrifice. This is Bhagavad Gita 3.14. That is how symbiotic relationship is something that Krishna has created between human beings, demigods, human beings, animals, jivatmas and prakriti in general. Correct. So Prabhupada speaks about economic development, artha. Artha means land and cows. These 2 things that he mentions. Land can give us everything: grains, fruits, milk, minerals, clothing, wood. Somehow we are all staying in flat system. We all stay in different flats, different stories. गलती से कुछ हो गया, earthquake या फिर कुछ आ गया, and everything falls off. Then who does the land belong to? किसका? Government ले लेगा. हम में से किसी का नहीं होगा. At least people had the land before. So that's the kind of system we're living on. Cows, no cows. We have not even, some people have never touched cow in their life. This is a real wealth that Prabhupada mentions, which we are very far away from today. Land and cows. Second thing that Prabhupada writes is about obedience to Supreme Lord. This obedience to Supreme Lord will solve all problems in human society. That's the second emphasis that Prabhupada gives. You obey God's laws and there'll be abundance, so much. Example for this is Mrigari. Mrigari has a question. Now Narad Muni gives a preview of hell to Mrigari. And Mrigari sees that hellish preview, says, मेरे को नहीं जाना इधर, बाबा मेरे को बचाओ, please. जो बाप बोलेगे करोगे. जो बोलेगा करेगा, हाँ करेगा, please. The first thing is you break your vow. That was very difficult for him. That was been the source of his livelihood. Just ठीक है, आप बोल रहे हैं मेरे को, I want to just escape this hellish situation, I'll break it. So he breaks the first tie of attachment. And then what does Narada tell him? Narada tell him, you, along with your wife, you go and lead a simple life. We have a simple hut. You go there across the river banks and you chant holy name. Ask your wife to worship Tulsi. and both of you chant the holy name. And Brigari has a question. Okay, mere fate ke bare mein kya? What about my food? Narad Muni says, don't worry, it will be supplied. You don't have to worry. It will be taken care of. You chant. I'll take care of your prasadam. And then he observed that because he had no obedience to the representative of Lord, to Narad Muni and the Lord, because of that obedience, so many people used to come to visit Brigari and they used to bring in abundance. So the principle that we highlight to our students through this particular first time of Brigari is that when Lord is pleased, everything is given in abundance. Abundance. So much used to come. In fact, he said, "No, I will just take what is needed for me and my wife, for our maintenance today. Rest all, please take it away." He never accepted more than his quota. But things came in abundance. So that obedience to the Lord brings abundance in terms of grains, in terms of fruits. Even when there is a night nakshatra, there is a nakshatra called Swati Nakshatra. On that Swati Nakshatra, when the rain falls on a particular in the waters, then there are gems, navaratnas, which are produced. So like that, there is opulence also. There is Aishwarya, valuable stones, pearls, all these things will come. So that all comes with the obedience of Lord. So that is the second principle highlighted by Prabhupada. Then he is very strongly speaking against cow slaughter. Aren't the cows citizens? They are also praja. Why man cannot be satisfied with simple vegetarian diet? Why does he want to slaughter cows? In fact, you will get brilliant milk. You take care of cow nicely, the cow will produce much more milk than it's going to give. On the other hand, when the cows are not feeling secure, then you are not going to be, it is not going to give you happiness. In fact, the cows are insecure, the person is also insecure. That insecurity comes when you drink the milk. That same enzymes, they come inside and he drinks that, insecurity comes. In fact, there is one lecture of my spiritual master where he says that the spiritual advancement of the civilization depends on how happy the cows are. So I had heard this first time. When I had heard first time, that time I had, okay, Maharaj must be speaking out of his own sentiments for cows. He loves cows. He loves Vrindavan. He's a cowherd boy. So he must be speaking out of that mood, like that. But later on, I saw the same statement in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. When I read Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu with commentary of Jiva Goswami, so that time I read that statement in direct Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Rupa Goswami writes. Rupa Goswami writes that one should feed the cow, one should tickle the cow. Yes, this tickling, that has to be done. One should tickle the cow nicely. This is one of the limbs of bhakti, sadhana bhakti. हाँ, 64 अंग में आता है. Yes, you tickle the cow nicely, and if then cows are happy, you will make spiritual advancement. I was like, my lord, what my spiritual master spoke years ago, it took me a lot of time to digest. I realized तो और बड़ी बात है, but point is, yes, Prabhupada also speaks about the cows being happy. Okay, we'll just read this section of the pulpit. Highlighted portion, can someone read?
The human being is the elder brother of all other living beings. He is endowed with intelligence more powerful than that of the animals for realizing the course of nature and the indications of the Almighty Father. Human civilization should depend on the production of material nature without artificially attempting economic development to turn the world into a chaos of artificial greed and love of power only for the purpose of artificial luxuries and sense gratification. This is but the life of dogs and hogs.
Hare Krishna, very clear. So human life means life of responsibility. So in fact, the Manu Samhita says the Grahastha Dharma is when Grahastha cooks, prepares the foods, the 5 types of foodstuffs. First thing is he should supposed to give to all the creatures. Supposed to go out, there are squirrels, there are crows, there are other insects. We should give food to all of them. And then 3 times call out. Is there anyone hungry? Is there anyone hungry? Is there anyone hungry? No, 3 times nobody came. Okay. When he comes, then has prasad. Some guests come, we'll be very happy to serve them. That is a Vedic culture. Of course, today we start doing all this. I don't know what will happen. कौन कौन आ जाएगा घर में पता नहीं. But the point is that is mentioned as a grahastha. Grahastha is parent. They're supposed to take care of the whole society, including animals and other species. That's the kind of compassion that is shown. So, and a human being is considered elder brother. There was one story. What happens is there's an elder brother. Elder brother has a younger brother. This younger brother is a little dumb kind of person, low IQ, moron. He's a fool. So he always used to pester the elder brother. And once the parents they leave the younger brother at the mercy of the elder brother, and they tell, please take care of him better, and they go. When they come back, they come back and they ask the elder brother, so how has been the younger one? He tells them, oh, this guy is too much pestering me, so I killed him. So will the parents be happy? मार दिया उसको? Yeah. मार दिया. I killed him. He was too much bothering me, too much pestering. He's simply a nuisance value, like that. So the elder brother, just like he has no right to do that, similarly, human beings also have no rights to, exploit or control over other younger animals. Once what happened? There was a small snail. You've seen snails who go small, slow pace they go. So there's a small snail going there, and there was one Prabhupada disciple. He was looking at that snail. What is this? And then Prabhupada caught him looking at that snail. So Prabhupada said, yes, what are you seeing? He said, Prabhupada, I'm seeing that why even this insignificant creature exists. Prabhupada said, if you look at the demigods, they are thinking the same thing about you. They are thinking same thing about you. What is this insignificant creature doing here? Yeah. Right? You will never look down upon anyone, any creature. Next, let us see other opulent features of Yudhishthira Maharaj's rule. Nadyah samudra girayah savanaspati virudah falanti oshadasya sarva kamam anritu tasya vai.
Gopika
Hare
Mata.
Krishna. Yes. The rivers, oceans, hills, mountains, forests, creepers, and active drugs in every season paid their tax quota to the king. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Now, in this particular purport, Prabhupada makes it very clear that Artha has to be based on Dharma. Has to be based on Dharma. In Ramayana also there is a very nice lesson behind this. So now Lord Ram appeared in the midday, 12 p.m. on Navami. Next day, 6 a.m. Bharat appeared, Dashami. And 12 p.m. Lakshman and Shatrughna, they appeared. And all of them, 4 of them appeared. All 4 of them were crying continuously. They were constantly crying. They were not at all, coming to their mothers were trying their level best. What to do? All were crying. And Lakshman and Shatrughna together, they were crying like anything. सबसे ज़्यादा वो दोनों रो रहे थे बैठ के. When all 3 mothers come for a meeting, they say, our children they are taken birth. We are all very happy, but they are continuously crying. कोई रोने का रुक नहीं रहा है. क्या करेंगे? Then they try one thing. What they do is they take Lakshman and keep him with Ram. And as soon as Lakshman and Ram come together, both of them start smiling and laughing nicely. And they take Shatrughna and keep him with Bharat. And as soon as Shatrughna comes with Bharat, they start smiling and laughing very nicely. So there is a science behind this. The Acharyas teach. Rama is the significance of Dharma. And Lakshman is Lakshmi Sampanna iti Lakshmana. He is Artha. So Artha should serve Dharma. So Lakshman, that's why always serves Lord Ram. So Artha should be used in service of Dharma. Then Shatrughna Bharam Bharayati iti Bharata. So Bharata is he is the significance of moksha. Bharam Bharayati. And then Shatrughna is the kama, desires. So the kamas should serve moksha. And kama and artha are together. Lakshman and Shatrugna are together, they will always cry. So kama or artha saath mein wo hamesha roenge. They will always keep crying. So that is why it is said that kama should serve the artha, serve moksha, the artha should serve dharma. So whatever one is earning, it has to be based on dharma. So economic development has to always be based on dharma. That is a theme that Prabhupada is mainly emphasizing here. And that is the secret of success. That's the secret of success, Prabhupada writes. Take shelter of the Supreme Lord to fulfill one's economic development. Yeah. And second part that Prabhupada gives in this purport is about the right godly communism. Now, communist idea, what is communist idea? Communist idea is everything for the people, by the people. Yes, we will, everything belongs to us, we will exploit and we will enjoy. On the other hand, what is godly communism? Godly communism is very elaborately spoken in the first verse of Isha Upanishad. Ishavasyam idam sarvam. Actually, everything belongs to Krishna. Yat kincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita magrida kasya siddhanam. So there is some quota allotted to some person. Yes, because we are also belonging to Supreme Lord. So there's a quota of things which is allotted to us also. So one should be satisfied with one's own quota and not encroach on others' quota. This is the ideal communism. Yes, godly communism. That second part is highlighted in the purport. So Parikshit Maharaj, Yudhishthir Maharaj, they are all supporters of godly communism, not atheistic communism. Atheistic communism will not produce happiness in society. People will be miserable. Okay. The last verse in this section of Yudhishthir Maharaj's rule and prosperity. Excuse me. Nadayo vyadaya klesha daiva bhutatma hetavah ajata shatra abhavan jantunam ragnikar hichit.
Hare Krishna. Translation. Because of the kings having no enemy, the living beings were not at any time disturbed by mental agonies, disease, or excessive heat or cold.
Excuse me. Hare Krishna. One may ask a question, what is connection between these two statements? Excuse me. Sorry about that. So one may ask a question, what is exactly the connection between that Yudhishthir Maharaj did not have enemy and the jivas under him were not disturbed by any kind of, in one sense, mental agonies, diseases, excessive heat or cold. These are three types of kleshas. With a klesh, correct? So excessive heat or cold is Adidevic klesh. Because of one's own mental disturbance is Adhyatmic klesh. Correct? And not other, no disturbance from other living entities, Adi Bhautik klesh. Nothing was there. What is the connection? Oh, there is a connection. Prabhupada writes that. See, one thing, moment a person is creating enemies, not only with other human beings, but other living entities. Yes? So, that particular enmity towards poor animals, poor creatures, will always make one anxious. Yes, just like, for example, we look at a thief. A person who is thief, he has stolen something. Can he be peaceful? A thief can never be happy. Correct? A thief, a moment he hears even sound of ambulance, he'll think police has come to arrest me. Ambulance का sound सुनते अरे बाप रे पुलिस आ गया मेरे को लेके जाने वाला डंडा पड़ने वाला. He sees khaki dress of some auto rickshaw driver, he will think अरे पुलिस है ये. He thinks like that. He becomes very anxious. So similarly, the material nature gives reaction on the human society for troubling innocent creatures. If you trouble, Durga Devi is ultimate. Durga Bhava, Bhavani, Shiva, Shivani. So Parvati and Shiva, they are the parents of all these material bodies. So they see that, oh, you're troubling our poor living entities. So we will give you reaction. We'll give you anxiety. We'll give you depression. We'll give you stress. All varieties of mental problems we'll have. We'll create enmity between the two of you. There is another one animal slaughterer, is another animal slaughterer. We'll create enmity between both of you, and you both beat each other, kill each other, destroy each other. So that this is how the kleshas take place. Yes, the klesha takes place when we are having some violence, violent mentality towards other creatures. So Yudhishthir Maharaj was not inimical to anybody, not just other living entities, even to animals. He considered everything to be his praja, everyone to be praja, and that's how the kings were in Vedic time. So that is the power of following Shastra and ruling as per Dharma. So I just remembered a verse from Ramayana. How when the Ayodhya Kanda comes, the residents of Ayodhya are described like this: Prahrishtam muditam lokam tushta pushta sudarnikah niramayo hinirogo durbhiksha bhaya varjitah. It is said Prahrishtam. All the Ayodhya Vasis, they were prahrishta. They're having beaming smiles on their faces. Ayodhya Vasi means smiles. Bhakti Vaibhava students means smile. You know? Nice smile? Okay, smile. Okay, thank you. इस बहाने खुश तो हुए आप लोग. I'm the only one smiling otherwise. Prahrishtam, muditam, and it was not a pretense. Mudita means inner happiness. So prahrishtam muditam lokam, wherever you see smiling faces and smiling hearts. Today's world, people may have smiling faces but crying hearts. No, they were muditam, happy. Tushtaha, very satisfied. They had no material desires. Pushtaha, they were well fed. Sudharmikaha, and they were always engaged in devotional service. Sudharmika. And if you see, Niramayo hinirogo durviksha bhavyava, you will not find one beggar also, and neither you will find anybody diseased. No diseases. That was also absent. That is Ramarajya. That's a description of Ramarajya in Ramayana. Correct? And the same symptoms you can find here in the rule of Yudhishthira Maharaj also. Correct? We'll just read one section. Purport. And we'll proceed to the next section. Yeah, please read this highlighted section.
Unless one is pious and recognized by the Lord, he cannot make others happy who are under his care. There should be full cooperation between man and God and man and nature. And this conscious cooperation between man and God and man and nature, as exemplified by King Yudhishthira, will bring about happiness, peace, and prosperity in the world.
Thank you. So unless one is pious and recognized by the Lord. So that recognition of the Lord, how does one get recognized by the Lord? One will get recognized by the Lord only when one becomes a devotee of the Lord. So so this following the Dharma and performing devotional service, that brings about empowerment. Yes, and the leader has only one quality. One quality leader should have to keep his people happy. That's very difficult. Operating systems is easy. Operating people also is difficult, but actually keeping devotees happy is the most difficult thing. That's the most difficult service that anybody can do, to keep devotees happy. Right? So that requires empowerment of Lord. And that comes when one is pious, not doing any sin. Pious means no sin, no sinful activity. And number two, recognized by Lord. Which means one is performing bhakti. Correct? Okay. So now the second, we're going to go to the second part, which is devotees are now going to start feeling separation. Why are they going to feel separation? Because something's going to happen now. Shloka number 7. Ushitva hastinapure masan katipayan harihi suhridam cha vishokaya Shvasuscha priya kamyaya.
Sri Hari, Lord Sri Krishna, resided at Hastinapur for a few months to pacify his relatives and please his own sister Subhadra.
Hare Krishna. Ushtitva Hastinapure, staying in Hastinapur. Masan, Katipayan, many months. In fact, when Krishna used to not come to home for a long time, Krishna's wives used to think, why did this Krishna marry us? He should have married Arjuna only, na? Usi ke saath to rehna hai. You want to be with Arjuna, you marry him only. Why did you marry us? Be with him. So they all used to think like this sometimes. But some Pandavas have been very dear to Krishna. As soon as Vrindavan Leela is complete, you read the 10th canto of Bhagavatam, the immediate people whom Krishna starts thinking the moment he comes out of Vrindavan is Pandavas. He sends Akrura to Hastinapur to go and check on his brothers and give a stern warning to Dhritarashtra that you fellow, you have to take care of my brothers properly. Otherwise, pata nahi kya hoga. So immediately from that point of time, Krishna starts always thinking of Pandavas. Yes, so he has been with Pandavas for a long time. One main reason why he stayed back also, Subhadra is specifically highlighted. Shvasus is sister. Main reason was sister. Why? Because Subhadra, she had only one son, Abhimanyu, and he was also a youth, and she lost him. And now her daughter-in-law Uttara was pregnant, and in her womb was Parikshit, the last Santana Bijam Kuru Pandavana, the last seed of Kuru dynasty. And she was very disturbed because she had lost her only son at such a young age. So especially to pacify her, Krishna stayed, to please her in fact. And Prabhupada makes a very beautiful statement here. The Lord is always pleased to satisfy his devotees in any capacity. The Lord is always pleased to satisfy his devotees in any capacity. So till the time devotees are completely satisfied, Krishna endeavors to please them very wonderfully. Yes. And one more thing Prabhupada writes, only Krishna's devotees can be relatives. Correct? And those relatives who are not devotees, they will be eliminated. Like Kamsa, Dharasan, Shishupal, Dantavakra. They were also relatives. But what kind of relatives? They were all finished. Right? Yeah. So especially for Subhadra, he stayed. Priya Kamyaya, he stayed. Next. Amantrya Chabhyanujanyata Parishvajyabhivadyatam Aruroharatham Kaischit Parishvaktobhivaditah.
Afterwards, when the Lord asked permission to depart and the king gave it, the Lord offered his respects to Maharaj Yudhishthira by bowing down at his feet, and the king embraced him. After this, the Lord, being embraced by others and receiving their obeisances, got into his chariot.
Hare Krishna. So here, one main mood that Prabhupada highlights is about Bhritya Vashatam. Again, same mood that Krishna enjoys a subordinate position with his devotees. He enjoys that position. So when some devotee accepts Krishna as, you are a small boy, you sit down, you don't know anything, then Krishna likes that particular, he likes to play the role of a subordinate. That is Bhritya Vashatam. Actually, that person is Bhritya, he's a servant. Ekala Ishvara Krishna Ara Sabha Bhritya, including Advaita Acharya, Nityanand Prabhu, Mahavishnu, Narayan, all are servants of Krishna. But still, he likes to be controlled by the love of his devotee. Bhritya Vashatam. I be under the control of my devotee. I think last section, 1 week back when I taken a class, I'd spoken about Arjuna and Krishna, how Krishna became Parthsarthi. Another example of Yashoda Maya controlling Krishna. Yes, Krishna lifting the chappals and sandals of Nanda Maharaj. These are all examples of Bhritya Vashatam. Yes, so now here, same Bhritya Vashatam he is experiencing with Yudhishthira Maharaj. That rasa is highlighted in the purport. of Srila Prabhupada. That, oh, Krishna is treated as younger brother, as subordinate. Krishna is touching the feet of Yudhishthira Maharaj, and Yudhishthira Maharaj is blessing him, then picking him up and embracing him. So this rasa somehow Krishna could not enjoy with others. Bhishma and Arjuna were equals, so they would embrace. And Nakul Sahadev, they bowed down in front of Krishna. So the most wonderful rasa that Krishna liked was with Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yes, because he could be younger and subordinate. Correct? And even if you see Krishna Leela, Vrindavan, Krishna would play with his another set of gopas, and Balram had his friends, his set of gopas. Krishna would keep a safe distance from Balram because Balram is Bade Bhaiya, he's an elder brother, he's a superior, and Krishna is Chota. He would always feel uncomfortable in front of Balram. That discomfort that Krishna would feel in front of elder brother, that is also sweetness, which is there in the sweet rasa of 10th canto. And Krishna will never open his mouth and speak. When all the Pandavas, this is after the 13th year of Ajñatvas. Ajñatvas is a period of incognito was finished. So that time all Pandavas, they come, Drupad comes there, Virat, Matsyadesh Raja is there, Balram is there, all are there. They all assemble together, have big meeting, what we should do now. 13 years are complete. So some of them say, just walk up and take the kingdom. What is there? It's yours, rightfully yours. Go and take. And then some of them are speaking. So there Krishna is just keeping quiet. He's just sitting silent. Why? Because Balram is present. And there Balram then finally takes the mic and he tells that, oh, there is one person amidst all of us who is the most intelligent fellow, and he can convince anyone. And Krishna is also wondering, kiski baat chal rahi hai? He says, that is my younger brother Krishna. Oh, acha, you're talking about me? Yeah. Kisi ko bhi convince kar sakta hai. Mujhe bhi convince kar diya. He convinced me to not marry off Subhadra to Duryodhan, to marry her to Arjuna. He convinced. Mujhe bhi convince kar diya. बहुत अच्छा convince करते हैं. He's the right person to go and convince Duryodhan, so he should go. And Balram gives approval, then he goes and takes blessings of Balram. Balram ji, dao bhaiya, Ashirwad dijiye. He blesses him. Then Krishna goes ahead. He enjoys that rasa of being treated as a subordinate. Okay. 2 verses together in N11. Subhadra, Draupadi, Kunti, Virat, Tanaya, Tata, Gandhari, Dhritarashtrascha, Yuyutsur, Gautamo, Yamau, Vrikodarascha, Dhaumyascha, Triyo, Matsya, Sutadayah, Na Sehire, Muhumi, Muhyanto, Viraham, Shangadhanvana.
Translation. At that time, Subhadra, Draupadi, Kunti, Uttara, Gandhari, Dhritarashtra, Yudsu, Krupacharya, Nakula, Sahadeva, Bhimasena, Dhaumya, and Satyavati all nearly fainted because it was impossible for them to bear separation from Lord Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So they were all, the moment understood Krishna is going to leave, even that thought they were not able to accept, that Krishna is going to leave us. It is impossible for them to bear that separation. Not at all possible. So they all fainted. Now it is said that how it happens. Krishna is the most attractive personality to all jivas. We are all attracted to Krishna only. In one sense, if you see the principle of attraction, we are attracted to people in this world. Well, but we are attracted to what? We are attracted to beauty, we are attracted to fame, we are attracted to wealth, we are attracted to a person's knowledge, we are attracted to a person's strength, all this. But these are all Krishna's opulence. Aishwaryasya, Samagrasya, Virasya, Yashasriya, Jnana, Vairagya, Shadvanna. So these are the Shad Bhagas, the 6 aspects of Bhagavan, which because we are all part and parcels of Krishna, we possess in minute quantity. And we are attracted to those principles only. So principle of attraction for the jiva is only Krishna. Another thing I read in Prabhupada purport, another place, that we are attracted to a material object also because of the presence of the all-pervading Lord Vishnu. What is the meaning of Vishnu? Who created the Vishwa and entered into every Anu is called Vishnu. He entered into every particle. Such a personality is called Vishnu. And because he's present there, we are attracted to something material also. Otherwise, we wouldn't be attracted to that. The most attractive apple of the eye of all the Jivatma, all the living entities is about to leave. See, this is, and what to speak, they're all such close associates of Lord. They're Parishads of Lord. So it can only, Prabhupada says that it can simply be imagined by devotees only. We cannot actually describe this kind of separation. And then he shifts the gear to the separation of Vrindavan Vasis. So Prabhupada says the Vrindavan Vasis were innocent, rural cowherd boys and girls and ladies, and they experienced separation throughout their whole life. And Radharani's separation was the highest. That is beyond expression. Yeah. Once they met at Kurukshetra also. When they met at Kurukshetra, that was one time they met. And that time, the gopis, they were shocked. Chaitanya Charitamrita gives a beautiful verse. It says, yeah, Manushya Gahana Kaha Gopavesha Kaha Nirjana. Now, where exactly this verse comes, it says, Rajavesha Hati Goda Manushya Gahana Kaha Gopavesha Kaha Nirjana Vrindavana. Kaviraj, Krishnadas Kaviraj beautifully describes that verse. He says, Rajavesha. Hey, what is this? Our Krishna has become king? Hati Goda. Hey, what is this Hati Goda? And Manushya Gahana. There are so many soldiers, so many people around here. Kitne log hai, kitne log. We are used to meeting Krishna in privacy, not with so many people. Manushya Gahana. We can see that there are so many people engulfing Krishna. Kaha Gopavesha. Where is that beautiful form of cowherd boy Krishna? Kaha Gopavesha, Kaha Nirjana Vrindavan. That Vrindavan has that mood of privacy. There is no privacy we are finding in Kurukshetra. And that is the mood of Rath Yatra. We want to pull Krishna from Vrindavan and from Kurukshetra and bring him to Vrindavan. From Rajavesh to Gopavesh. From Manusha Gahana to Nirjana Vrindavana. Like that. So, but the whole principle that we see here that's highlighted in this purport is our essence of philosophy. Is Vipralamba Bhav. Service in separation. This is our philosophy, Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, that we serve Krishna in separation. In fact, Prabhupada writes that Krishna has such wonderful qualities, heart-rending qualities, that a person who has come in contact with Krishna even once cannot think of leaving him even for a moment. Just one moment also we can't think we'll leave Krishna and go. Correct? So, especially we recently had the Youth Utkarsha festival, and I was given the service to direct dramas. So there we show a drama of one Vyomasur. So Vyomasur is the bat form of Lord, and the Vyomasur, what he does is he comes in the form of a Gopa, and one by one takes away Krishna's Gopa friends away from Krishna and puts them in one cave. Yes, and the Gopas were not used to even staying for a moment without Krishna. So they suffer terribly. That Gopas are the Jivatmas actually. And Vyomasur is the mind that has a obstinate quality to take away the Jiva away from Krishna. And then the Gopas there in the cave, they pray out, they cry out. That is we Jivatma sadhakas chanting the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So that one of the Gopas says that Krishna, I can't even bear of thinking about you for even one moment. One moment also I can't stay without you. Where are you, Krishna? And the Gopas feel so much separation from the Lord. Of course, this is a separation that is created for Leela purpose. And the general separation that the Vipralamba that Vrajavasis experiences when Krishna, yes, of course, Krishna never left Vrindavan. Vrindavan Parityajya Padamayakam Nagachati. But he transformed himself as that Vipralamba Bhav, that mood of separation, and he showed the Vrajabhat is the highest bhakti, where my devotees kept loving me, kept serving me with the mood of separation. This is the attitude of pure devotee, Prabhupada says. So our whole Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta is there in this purport. Viplamba Bhav Siva, service in mood of separation. So the mood of separation is felt by Brajvasis, mood of separation felt by our Hastinapur Vasis. What is the difference? The difference is that the mood of separation which is felt by the Hastinapur Vasis has some Aishwarya. It is Aishwarya. It is not, although they were relatives, yes, they had direct sambandh with Krishna, but still it has a reverential mood, Aishwarya. That sweetness is not there. That sweetness is only present in, it's present only in Vrindavan. So that is why Prabhupada particularly highlights that sweet mood of Vrindavan, simple sweet mood where they experience separation from Krishna and they cannot just live without Krishna. In fact, anyone coming in touch with Krishna can't live without Krishna. And this should be all of us. We should develop this kind of attachment to Krishna. That's the goal. Maya saktamana partha yogam yunjanmadashreha asamshaya samagram mam yatagnyasasi tatshunu. That's the very goal to be cultivated. 7.1 Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada gave 35 lectures on this. Because this is the goal. We want to cultivate that we don't want to live without Krishna even for a moment. And in that spirit, what comes is Bhava. Bhava stage where devotee experiences Avyartha Kalatva. So now Bhava, if you see, there are Satviki Bhavas, Ashtasattvic. You know some examples of Ashtasattvic Vikar?
Tears coming out.
Tears coming, Nayanam Galadasudharaya. What else?
Hair standing on end.
Yeah, hair standing on end. Okay, Pulaka. Shivering, Kampan.
Fainting.
Yes, fainting. That's called Murchita. Stabda, one becomes shocked. Faltering of voice, Gadgadeya Vacha. All these things. But they are not described as Bhava by Rupa Goswami because they can be produced by actors also. Then what is Bhava? Bhava is it's called Shantir Avyakta Kalatvam Viraktir Manashunyata Ashabadda Samutkanta Namagane Sadaruchi Asaktistad Gunakyane Pritistad Vasatistale. These are all Bhavas. So I'm not able to describe all 9 together, but ek cheez bata sakta hu. One thing that is possible for a sadhaka without being in Bhava to practice is Avyartha Kalatva. Not one moment. We don't want to waste a single moment without Krishna. So when this is cultivated, then one gets Bhava. Not wasting a single moment. That's as far as possible being Krishna conscious. Only when this mood is developed, right? This particular mood is developed that we don't want to be separated from Krishna even for a moment. That is when the Bhava will arise. All the Bhavanas will be able to experience. So one has to try to be Avyartha Kalatva. 11 and 12. Satsangan mukta dussango hatum notsahate buddha kirtyamanam yasho yasya sakrid akarna rochanam tasminyastadiya prartha saheran viraham katham darshana sparshana samlapa shayanasana bhojanehi.
Translation: the intelligent who have understood the Supreme Lord in association with pure devotees and have become freed from bad materialistic association can never avoid hearing the glories of the Lord. Even though they have heard them only once, how then could the Pandavas tolerate his separation? For they had been intimately associated with his person, seeing him face to face, touching him, conversing with him, and sleeping, sitting, and dining with him.
Yeah, the 2 shlokas, one explains the philosophy first. Sangha, Dussango. All the bad association, the Dusanga is cut off when one performs satsang, association of devotees. Hatum notsahate Buddha. Nobody can give up. Kirtiniyamanam yasho yasya. Nobody can stop glorifying Krishna. Sakrid akarnya rochanam. You hear once, Sakrid, once. Akarnya rochanam. So that which is so very, very pleasing to the ears. Somebody having once heard Krishna Katha in association of devotees, once, and he has understood Krishna through that satsanga, and his dussanga is destroyed. He cannot stop hearing the Katha after that. He will always come. And he cannot stop glorifying the Lord also. That is the quality of Krishna Katha in satsang. When we hear Satam Prasangan Mama Virya Samvido Pavantiritkarana Rasayana Kataha Tad Joshanadashu Apavarga Vartmani Shraddha Artir Bhakti Anukramishati. Shraddha, Rati and Bhakti, they will grow systematically. They keep growing. So a person who has attended Krishna Katha sincerely, even once in association, we cannot give up hearing Krishna Katha. So that is the nature of Krishna Katha. Then what to speak of all these Pandavas who have done so many activities? Darshana, they have seen Krishna constantly. Sparsha, they have touched him. Samlapa, they have spoken with him. Shayana, they have even taken rest together. Asana, they have sat together with him. Bhojane, they all have eaten in same plate. इतना सब कुछ करने के बाद भगवान के साथ उनको छोड़ सकते हैं क्या? Can they give up? See, so there is a comparison between sadhakas and there is a comparison between siddhas. In one sense, they are associate of Lord means they are perfect beings. So if sadhakas are not able to give up Krishna, what speak of those who are perfect beings like Pandavas? Can they give up Krishna? The question that is asked here. Purport is very important. We'll read and discuss. Please read paragraph by paragraph.
The living being's constitutional position is one of serving a superior. He is obliged to serve by the force the dictates of illusory material energy in different phases of sense gratification. And in serving the senses, he is never tired. Even though he may be tired, the illusory energy perpetually forces him to do so without being satisfied. There is no end to such sense gratificatory business, and the conditioned soul becomes entangled in such a servitude without hope of release.
What is spoken out here is that serving is by force. Naturally, serving is natural for living entity. If you see the Sanatan Dharma, the eternal Dharma of a living entity is to love and to serve. It can never be separated from the Jiva. Serve you must. Now we have choice whether we want to serve forcefully under Maya or willingly under Guru, just voluntarily giving up. So that is one of the meanings. I remember one of the initiation lectures S.G.S. Radhesham had given very nicely. He said initiation means to resign from the service of Maya and to voluntarily surrender to the desire of Guru. Henceforth, we are giving up designation of Maya and voluntarily desiring to be with Guru, serve Guru. Serving is must, but voluntary service is important. So how can one end this sense gratificatory business of serving some other person or senses or anarthas? This is a very beautiful section also. How many of you read Krishna book? Right? 60th chapter, very exciting. It's Krishna teasing Rukmini. That chapter, Krishna teases Rukmini and says, "Hey, galti kar diya. Why did you marry me? I'm a beggar. I don't even have any kingdom," like that. And then finally, he's after teasing her nicely, he tells that now also there is no problem. I know you've become grandmother of so many kids. Maybe grandfather ban gaya, tu grandmother ban gayi. Fir bhi ab bhi time hai. You want to select some other suitable husband? I can also help you. You can. And she just fades off. And there she mentions about king. So who are the kings? In this world, the senses are the kings. And the so-called kings of this world are nothing but playthings under the senses. So she gives a very philosophical discourse. That's how she starts her lecture. Right? How to become free from the serving of the senses. That is possible only by hearing in association. Prabhupada just focuses on that, nothing else. Yeah? We will read that part. So simply by hearing in association, satsanga. Yeah, please read this section. The highlighted portion.
As one associates with pure devotees, as one associates with pure devotees and hears them submissively, attachment for material enjoyment slackness, and attraction for hearing about the transcendental activities of the Lord becomes prominent. Once this attraction begins, it goes on progressively increasing without stoppage, like fire in gunpowder. It is said that the personality of Godhead is so transcendently attractive that even those who are self satisfied by self realization and are factually liberated from all material bondage also become devotees of the Lord.
This is Atma Ramascha Muneyo. Nirgantaapyorukrame. Kuruvanti ahetu kim bhaktim ittam bhuta guno harihi. Hari's qualities are so attractive that even liberated souls, Shukadev Goswami, 4 Kumaras, they all got attracted to bhakti. Okay. Here, one thing that we have to purchase in association of devotees is that attraction. Because once that attraction develops to the, of course, Krishna is all attractive. Krishna is like the magnet, and we are all like the iron filings. But we are in conditioned state, we are like rusted iron filings. Rusted iron filings will not be attracted to magnet naturally. But if that's a very clean, so that rust is something, the rust is called lust. That rust is lust, because of which we are not able to get attracted to the magnet very naturally. That rust is removed, which means the lust is removed. The covering, avartam jnanametena, jnanino nityairina, amarupena kaunteya, dushpurena lamena cha. That rust, namely lust, is removed. Yes, then one will definitely naturally be attracted to Krishna. And that lust is only which is called as dussanga here. But how can that dussanga be removed? By satsanga. Sango mukta dussango. Sangan mukta dussango. Attentively one hears Bhagavatam in association of devotees. Lust will be cut off, slackened. And then naturally attraction for Krishna will develop. We actually, Bhagavatam is natural for living entity. It's very naturally attractive. And if one is just hearing and still not able to develop, then one should serve also. Shushusho saddadanasya vasudeva katharuchihi syan mahat sevaya vipra punya tirtha nishevanat. Serve the Bhagavatas, serve the great souls. Narada boy, because of serving the four Bhaktivedantas, he served them nicely and he developed taste. Ruchi prajayate. He developed great taste in hearing about Harikatha. And then he sat and heard Harikatha from them. That taste is not coming, we should serve Vaishnavas. Very important. Sarvete nimishair akshais tam anu dhruta chetasa vikshantah sneha sambaddha vichilus tatra tatraha.
All
Supposed to be.
were waiting for him on the spot of attraction. They looked at him without blinking their eyes, and they moved hither and thither in perplexity.
So, animishair, sarvete animishair. That means they were not even blinking their eyes. Nimish. Nimish is the quality of Supreme Lord or even demigods. They are all called animish because they don't blink. Unblinkingly they were staring. Why is that unblinking stare? Because of that intense attraction. Somebody is wrapped in attention, when is intense in attraction, is very much absorbed, then you will find that the person doesn't waver, doesn't shake here and there. He is in rapt attention. That is there. Tam druta chetasa. Druta chetasa. What druta means? Melted. Hare Krishna. So their hearts all got melted. And why that heart got melted? Nice analogy is given here. The heart is melting because that heart was placed on the pot of attraction. And as they were getting more and more attracted towards Krishna, that pot started producing more and more heat. The heart started melting. Yes, vikshanta sneha sambaddha. Vikshantai. They were looking at him with pure affection. Sneha sambaddha. Complete love. And vichelu. Vichlit ho gaye. They were disturbed also. That's why they were moving here and there. Somebody is nervous, somebody is disturbed, then they move here and there. You all have shloka tests? Yes, you all Give oral shloka test. Online, offline. Why do you remind us of this? Batao, batao. Imagine you have offline shloka test, huh?
We don't know whether it is offline or online. We have shloka test.
Offline. You have, but ab tak hua nahi. Okay. Nice. You will very soon have. Yes. So imagine there's a shloka test happening, and there's a devotee who's gone inside the room of the invigilator, and you are next. How will you feel? My God, duck, 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 nervousness. In a very nervous situation. Even we'll also feel. Don't worry. We also have shloka test. In a Bhakti Vedanta, we have to recite totally 100 shlokas. We have to recite. And they've announced dates also. Abhi date bhi announce kar diya. Humko abhi se ho raha hai duck, 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 duck. So that kind of palpitation happens, nervousness that comes. So they also started feeling that disturbance. Vichalit hone lag gaye, begins to move. And thus they were moving. Sometimes people move, they can't sit in one place. You're next. Aaram se aise interview mein dikhate that all they can show in movies. But actually you have your next shloka test personally moving. If you're not moving, he's sitting in one place, the person will be shaking the legs. Prabhuji, I am next. मेरे को आता नहीं ठीक से वो वाला मीनिंग ठीक से पूरा याद नहीं किया and all that. We remember those days. How many shlokas? We had 250 shlokas to do for Bhakti Vaibhava. हम लोगों का 250 था. You had to memorize the whole Gaurang Darshan Prose book. पूरा करना था. कैसे किया पता नहीं. I still don't believe I have Bhakti Vaibhava certificate. How I got that I don't believe it. Right? But point is, yeah, we all have to go through. That nervousness is there. You're next coming. So that kind of nervousness, perplexity they were feeling. And they were all moving here and there. And the mind is disturbed and agitated, body also cannot be. Body will also get disturbed in some way. Okay. So now here, purport, what does Prabhupada describe? Purport, Prabhupada describes that we all have a very natural relationship with Krishna. Our relationship with Krishna is natural. Only thing, we have forgotten this relationship. Yes, we have, and what we are doing, we don't have to establish relationship with Krishna. We have to revive our relationship with Krishna. Revival is not established yet. We don't have to create love for Krishna. We just simply have to remove the impurity, dirt, and we will definitely experience the love. Love of Krishna is there with all of us. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabuno. Shravanadi Shuddha Chitra Korya Uday. Sun is always there. Sun, Surya Uday happens. So similarly, Prema Uday. The Prema has to rise. That is something that has to happen. And in fact, Prabhupada gives us great hope in this purport. He says that you just have to slightly revive this. Thoda sa karna. Slightly somehow we start feeling for Krishna, right? Then at once you will become free from material life. And you will become mad after association of Krishna. So slightly, kaise bhi karke thoda sa, little bit of revival is required. And this, now one may say, okay, that this kind of madness for Krishna will only come when you experience Krishna, but we never experience Krishna. What to do? Then Prabhupada gives hope. He says, don't worry. You associate with Krishna's name, you associate with Krishna's deities, you associate with Krishna's qualities, his fame in Bhagavatam. All these association is as good as personal contact with Lord. Yes, as good as personal contact. So you are coming in contact with Krishna only. So somehow or the other, we have to increase our exposure to Krishna. So this Bhakti Vaibhava is a brilliant opportunity. 2 solid hours, absorption in sound vibration. I'm doing Kirtan, you're all hopefully doing Shravan. Yes, hopefully. Kar rahe na Shravan? Ah, theek hai. So Shravan, Kirtan. So this is a prolonged exposure, an opportunity. So this kind of prolonged exposure opportunity is something that has to be given to the Jiva. So that is a training. Which Srimad Bhagavatam trains the conditioned soul to the stage of submissive hearing from pure devotee. Was यही एक चीज करना है हमको. Yeah, Parikshit Maharaj is that example of submissive hearing from the pure devotee. So he has come and he is just hearing from the pure soul. So this is the training that we need to give the living entities. I remember our Bhakti Vaibhava used to be nowadays it's unimaginable. We used to have 3 hours class in morning and then immediately test. And then another 3 hours class, then उसके बाद फिर से test. Like this 5 days. Can you imagine? ऐसा ना fast track में थोड़ी करते होंगे इतना fast. We completed 2 years, मिल गया degree. So the point is, we used to have such prolonged exposures. We enjoyed those days. They were very nice. So like this in a week, 1 week we used to have in a month. Other days, you carry on with your regular preaching and other services. So 1 week in that 5 days, Monday to Friday, morning 3 hours, test. Evening 3 hours, test. जैसे ही खत्म तुरंत उसके बाद टेस्ट होता है एग्जाम. So one has to be very, very attentive. And submissive hearing करना ही पड़ता था. We had no option. Yes. So this is very good opportunity for us to train our ears. Next. 10 shloka. Yarundhan udgalat bhashpam autkantya devaki sute niryati agaranno bhadram iti syad bandhavastriyah.
The female relatives whose eyes were flooded with tears out of anxiety for Krishna came out of the palace. They could stop their tears only with great difficulty. They feared that tears would cause misfortune at the time of departure.
That's why Narudhan, they were all king with great difficulty. No, we are not supposed to cry. It may be inauspicious omen. Yes, Outkantya, because they were greatly anxious. What will happen to us if Krishna leaves us and goes? Yeah, and so they came out of the palace and they could not stop crying. They were crying. At the same time, they didn't want to cry because it will be misfortune for Krishna. They are crying. It is not good. So you can all imagine these ladies. These all ladies were in white cloth. All of them. They all had become widows. Their husbands were all dead in the war. That is the kind of situation. Completely feeling helpless and sheltered only in Krishna. That was their heart, state of heart. And Prabhupada writes that there were like hundreds and hundreds of ladies in Hastinapur. And they were relatives of Krishna and affectionate to Krishna. But the moment they saw Krishna going away, they were not able to tolerate that separation. Yes. So now one may ask a question, that these ladies as such never came in direct touch with Krishna. Then how they had so much affection for Krishna? So Prabhupada gives answer for this. Prabhupada says all of them had heard about Krishna, Shravanam. Because they had heard about Krishna very nicely, about his pastime, about him, and thus they not only heard, they even did kirtan. They spoke about him. They chanted his name, affection which the Pandavas had. The Pandavas who developed affection because of being directly in touch with Krishna comes as Gopyak Kamad Bhayad Kamso Dvesha Chaidyade and Nripaha Sambandad Vishnaya Yuyam Bhaktya Vayam Vibho. Narad Muni says how everyone developed love for Krishna. Gopyak Kamad, Gopya because of intense feeling of love. That intense love is compared to lust because that's the same magnitude. Gopya Kamad Bhayad Kamso. Kamsa by great fear. Yes, he also became Krishna conscious. Dvaishat Chaidyadiyo Nripa. Envy, height of envy was by Chaidya, Chaidi Naresh's son, Shishupal, and other kings also. Sambandad Vishnayad, the Vrishnis, the Krishna's relatives, they had that relationship. Yuyam Snehad, and you have that affection for Krishna, Narad Muni tells Pandavas. And Bhaktya Vayam, like us sadhana bhaktas. Through sadhana bhakti, we have developed love for Krishna. Here, what is being spoken of is they also developed the same affection for Krishna, but although they did not have direct contact with Krishna. Can you give some examples, all of you, of somebody who developed love for Krishna without coming in contact with Krishna? Rukmini, but how? Through here. Shutva gunamana sundara shrinvatam ye nirvishya karana vivarei haratong gatapam Rupam drisham drishimatam akilartha labam tvayachyuta vishtachittamapatrapam me. Just by hearing. Shrutva guna. I heard all the qualities of Krishna and just fell in love with Krishna. Very good. Anyone else? Any other example?
Prahlad Maharaj.
Achha, Prahlad Maharaj developed love for Krishna through hearing in the womb. Very nice. The Brahman Patnis. The Brahman Patnis also never came in contact with Krishna. The first time they saw Krishna is Krishna asked for food. So they made lots of preparation and the first time they went to see. They went to see Krishna with great anger. First time we are meeting Krishna. But this is a Krishna whom we already love so much. So love for Krishna can be developed even without meeting Krishna. In fact, without having that first-hand experience. But what is required is Shravanam. So these Brahman Patnis also used to hear the different vendors, fruit vendors, vegetable vendors. So they all used to keep hawkers. They used to keep going, and while going, they used to, of course, they used to say sabji le lo, bhindi le lo, aloo le lo, whatever. But along with that, they also used to speak Krishna Katha. We know what Krishna did today in the village. Yeah, what did he do? Oh, there was an asura called Bakasura. And Krishna just ripped apart his beak and killed him. Oh, very nice. Amazing. So they used to hear such leelas of Krishna. And through that leelas, hearing about his fame and hearing about his name, they have developed affection. In fact, Krishna tells the Brahman Patnis only later on. So Brahman Patnis don't go away. Krishna tells them that now you come, you saw me, your desire is fulfilled. Now please go back to your husbands. Yes. One of the reasons Acharya has mentioned is because Krishna belonged to a Vaishya community. The Brahman Patnis are Dvija Patnis, they're Brahmanas. He didn't want to create any kind of communal disharmony there. So that's one of the reasons why he refrains. Many reasons are there. And one of the reasons that Krishna gives them to go, he says that you will not develop much affection for me in my personal association as much as you will develop by Shravana and Kirtan. Krishna himself tells. So you hear about me, you chant about me, continue your sadhana. Bhakti, you will develop more love for me. Correct? Yeah. So we talk about Krishna, we discuss about Krishna, direct, indirect talks of Krishna, coming in contact with Krishna directly or even indirectly through his Harikatha, through Bhagavad Gita, through his pastimes. We will develop affection for Krishna. Next. So now how Krishna was given a send-off. So that is described. So we'll 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 5 slokas we have to discuss. So how was Krishna being given send-off? That section. Mridanga Shanka Bhairyascha Vina Panava Gomukhaha Dunduri Anaka Ghantadya Nedur Dundubhayastatha.
While the Lord was departing from the palace of Hastinapur, different types of drums like the Mrudunga, Dol, Nagara, Dudumbi, Dunduri, and Dudumbe, and the flutes of different types, the Veena, Gomukha, and Bheri, all sounded together to show him honor.
Yes, this is a great pomp that is created. No, Raja, Viraj, Maharaj, Padhar Rahe Hai. So the kind of grandeur that's created by this music. The sound creates many, many kinds of rasas and moods. In fact, in warfare also, it is said, I was hearing a lecture on the Mahabharata. So when two warriors are fighting, now warriors are fighting, they may be doing sword fighting, mace fighting, any kind of fighting, or kushti, Mallyud. But there will be instrument players also will come. And they will produce music, different kinds of music, which will inspire the Kshatriyas to fight with each other. So even in warfare, there was music. There was particular kind of music which was played for the kings for taking rest. For the inaugural address of the king is going to come there. Some saints are coming, for their welcome music was there. So music was a very, very essential part of the Vedic culture. And if you see the 6th chapter of the first canto, the Sapta Swaras, Sa Re Ga Ma Pa Da Ni Sa, Sa Re Ga Ma Pa Da Ni. The Sapta Swaras, they come from Vaikuntha directly. The Swar, the Tal, they all come from the Vaikuntha in order to serve the Supreme Lord. So now music is the best music, which is actually made for pleasing the Lord. How many have been to South Indian temples? a particular music to wake up the Lord. So they will start in the morning only. नादस्वरम they call. हम लोगों को लगा अरे क्या चल रहा है ये, सांप को बुला रहा है क्या? No, he's calling some snake or something, but they know the signs. It's been coming in parampara, Guru Shishya parampara, and that for a tang, tat tang, tak tick, tak ting, tak tang, tak tang, tak. He'll play the exact tal ke saath, and one fellow will be playing the naad. So sometimes we may go there and we may say, what is this? It's acha kirtan karo na thoda. But we need to understand even that has a mood. That particular playing of instruments also has a mood to wake up the Lord. Lord has gone for Prasad. I remember I had gone recently. I had just gone to Guruvayur few months back. So there, as soon as the Lord, that was the time for Mangal Bhog of Lord. So Bhagwan ka Mangal Bhog ka samay ho gaya. As soon as they closed the altar, we were very fortunate. We got to stay there because altar बंद हो गया. हमको वहाँ भी दर्शन मिला और भगवान के सामने रुकने को भी मिला. We were very fortunate. So immediately two pujaris came. One came with the tal and another had a string instrument and started singing beautiful songs. In Malayalam, he started singing very nice songs for Guru Ayappa. तो ऐसा कभी कभी songs होते हैं, कभी कभी wake up वगैरह रहता है तो they play that particular rag. Yes. And previously sound had so much power that there's a raga in Carnatic music called Amrita Varshini. If that raga is sung, it will rain. बारिश गिरेगा. बजाया वो राग तो बारिश भी गिर सकता है. They have so much of power. Sound is very powerful. Yeah, so these are all signs which हम लोग दूर दूर चले गए. We have gone very far away from this. प्रासाद शिखरारूढ़ा पुरुनार्यो दिदीक्षया ववृषु कुसुमई कृष्णम प्रेम व्रीड स्मिते क्षणाः.
Hare Krishna. Out of loving service to see the Lord, the royal ladies of the Kurus got up on top of the palace and smiling with affection and shyness, they showered flowers upon the Lord.
Yes. So we discussed one more time we had discussed that shyness, three dharma. In the section of three dharma, that shyness is the greatest weapon of a lady, a woman. Even Chanakya Pandit in Niti Shastra also mentions. So Prabhupada has also mentioned elaborately about this lajja, the shyness. And once even devotees asked Prabhupada, where should be the Prabhujis and where should be Matajis? So Prabhupada said the men can be down and the woman can dance on top of them. Yes, they can be at the top dancing on top of them, like that. So here also, if you see the ladies, they took the position on the top. And this system, Prabhupada also says is that strict separation, the restriction between men and women, that is actually a symbol of human society. If that restriction is absent, it is like an animalistic society. Prabhupada talks that it's not that Muslims only invented this parda system. No. If you see this particular restricted association of man and women was much prevalent even in the Mahabharata, times of Mahabharata, and much before that also. So about shyness, we'll read something from the purport. Yeah. That is the highlighted portion.
Hare Krishna. Shyness is a particular extra natural beauty of the fair sex, and it commands respect from the opposite sex. The custom of separating females from mixed males was observed even during the days of the Mahabharata. That is more than 5,000 years ago.
The Vedic wisdom?
Yes. The dead body has
the Vedic wisdom.
No beauty, because no one will accept the dead body of so-called beautiful woman. There, the Vedic wisdom. Hey, 1 minute.
Sure.
The Vedic wisdom therefore forbids us to be attracted by the false beauty. But because we are now in the darkness of ignorance, the Vedic civilization allows very restricted mixing of woman and man. They say that woman is considered to be fire and the man is considered to be butter. The butter must melt in association with fire, and therefore they may not be brought together only when it is necessary. And shyness is a check to the unrestricted mixing. It is the nature's gift and it must be utilized.
So here, two things are mentioned. I would say, yeah, two only. First thing that is mentioned is the principle of shyness. This gives an extra natural beauty to the woman when she exhibits that. And that is something that even restricts other unscrupulous men from approaching her. Yes, because she'll command a lot of respect and she'll command a lot of power when she does that. The second principle that is mentioned in this purport is about that attraction between male and female, actually materialistic principle. In this Pumsam Striya Mituni Bhavametam Ayor Mityo Hridayam Granti Masi Atagrah Kshetra Sutapta Vitter Janasya Mohoyam Aham Mameti. So one should not get attracted to the bodily beauty of this lumping flesh and bones of anybody. So the bodily concept of life is condemned in the Shastra. And attraction based on bodily beauty is also condemned. Attraction can be there for what? For genuine qualities, for wonderful qualities that a person has. Yes, that should be the attraction, the factor of attraction. Genuine qualities, virtues, values. Yes. But what is condemned thoroughly is attraction based on the bodily beauty. Because the bodily beauty is going to go away. A matter of a few years. That's all. The lump of flesh is beating up for some time. After that, it's gone. It will be finished in no time. But we should take care and ensure that one is attracted to genuine qualities. And even in Grace Radheshyam often says this particular point, that for a grahastha, between every couple, there has to be divine couple. So the moment one reposes all service tendency of serving the divine couple, then one will start seeing, the Prabhu will start seeing the Mataji as, oh, she's Devi Dasi, she's Krishna's Devi Dasi. And wife will also start seeing the husband as, oh, he's Krishna Das, servant of the Lord. And that's a very ideal consciousness and spiritual partnership, spiritual friendship that develops between the husband and wife. Okay. Yeah. Seeing each other as servants of Lord. That is a consciousness which one has to develop. Sitatapatram jagraha muktadama vibhushitam ratnadandam gudakesha priya priyatamasyaha.
At that time, Arjun, the great warrior and conqueror of sleep, who is the intimate friend of the most beloved Supreme Lord, took up an umbrella which had a handle of jewels and was embroidered with lace and pearls.
What umbrellas we have today? Plastic. We have plastic umbrellas. Here you see the handle of umbrellas was with jewels. My God. You see the opulence. The lace was with embroidered with gold and pearls. The lace of the umbrella. My God. What an opulence. Yes, we'll read the purport also. Worth reading.
Gold, jewels, pearls, and valuable stones were used in the luxurious royal ceremonies. They are all nature's gift and are produced by the hills, oceans, etc., by the order of the Lord. When man does not waste his valuable time in producing unwanted things in the name of necessities, by so-called development of industrial enterprises, people are now using pots of gutta parcha instead of metals like gold, silver, brass, and copper. They are using margarine instead of pure butter, and 1/4 of the city population has no shelter.
Hare Krishna. So with the degradation of dharma, what has happened is the artha is also gone down. The prosperity is lost in the societies. Even a few 100 years back, I've seen some photos of my great grandmother, great grandfather. They were very, very rich. Of course, rich in the sense that they could display their richness. Now, if you ask somebody of gold or diamond, I'll say, we have. Where? It's there in the bank. Yes, bank only is seeing it. Bank mein hoga shayad. Those days people would wear. They would wear lots of gold, lots of bangles, golden bangles, rings. Abhi kuch nahi hai. There is nothing in today's people. The more the person has degraded to the animalistic quality of life, the more the prosperity and everything is gone. People used to eat in golden plates previously. Then came silver plates, and then stainless steel plates, and now paper plates. People eat in paper plates, plastic plates. That's how you eat. The quality. We see this. What a degradation has happened. So the opulence around us is replaced with everything artificial. My spiritual master was giving a lecture. He was saying that every object has a particular radiation. It has a particular radiation or the frequency that it emits. And we are somehow surrounded by plastics, a lot of plastics and wires, thermocols, and all these types of non-biodegradable substances. And all of these things really sap our energy. There was an experiment done. There was one doctor who had come. There was a camp for all brahmacharis. So he asked, is there any strong brahmachari? मुझे लगा मैं strong हूँ, मैं गया वहाँ पे, done. Then he told you just extend your hand like this. Then he called another. Is there anybody else who think you can defeat him? So one person came, and he told that you have to pull this Prabhu's hand down. So he tried his best. बहुत दम लगाया, जोर लगाया. Nothing he could do. And I was like proud. I'm a strong brahmachari. Very nice. And then now he told me there was a plastic pen. वो 4 color का pen होता है ना. The doctor told me put this in your mouth. I said, really, you want me to do that? He said, yes, do it. So I put it in the mouth, and then he called the thinnest brahmachari there. बुलाया और बोला अभी इसका नीचे करके दिखाओ. And within 3 seconds he immediately put it down. तुरंत. And I was like, my God, what is this? He did it in no second. Now my whole pride was gone. Then he told, don't worry, lose hope, Prabhu. आपसे ही experiment करना, आप पहले आए. He gave me, then later on he told, take out the pen. And he gave me a cow dung soap. He told, hold it. Cow dung ka soap hold karo ek haath mein, and then other hand you extend like this. Then he called 2 people and put it down. They were not able to do. So what he was trying to teach, the experiential learning, he taught us that how the substance we are in contact with, they have certain energies, and those energies come. And the worst energy ever which is there is plastics. And somehow we are surrounded everywhere with plastics. This is the kind of environment we are in. So we have lost our prosperity. On the other hand is golds and jewels. They are very high energy radiating materials. Really allow a person to show their vigor and power. Plates that we eat, my God. देख लो, क्या करेंगे? What we have to speak. You all decide. क्या करना है हमको? Yes. So those things we eat, it's directly going in our system. Yes. How many of you have credit cards? नहीं मांगूंगा, don't worry. पूछ रहा हूँ. I'll not ask. Dakshina नहीं पूछूंगा. You all have. Okay. Good. How anyone tried to eat credit card in your life? वो क्या बात कर रहे हैं bro? Why are you speaking like this? It is scientifically proven that we all eat 1 credit card worth plastic every week. इतना plastic हम लोग खाते हैं. Because plastic is all pervading now. It is there in food, it's there in water, it's there in air we breathe. Everywhere there is plastic. So thus we lost all our samriddhi, opulence. It's the purpose. Uddavah satyakishchaiva vyajane paramadbhute vikirta mana kusumaihi reje madhupati pati.
Uddhava and Satyaki began to fan the Lord with decorated fans and the Lord, as the master of Madhu, seated on scattered flowers, commanded them along
the road. Thank you. Ashruyantashishasatyastatra tatra dvijetaraha nanurupanurupascha nirgunasya gunatmanaha.
It was being heard here and there that the benediction being paid to Krishna were neither befitting nor unbefitting, because they were all for the Absolute, who was now playing the part of a human being.
Thank you. So here and there, everywhere, people are able to see some blessings they are offering to Lord. Now, in one sense, somebody is offering blessing to Krishna. Oh, that's because he's playing part of a human being. And some blessings, these blessings were seen as relative. They were not, because you are speaking these blessings to absolute truth. One may say, "Oh Krishna, may you have a good health." Do we ever hear of Krishna falling sick with malaria like me? Krishna got jaundice. Yeah, Krishna got, of course, Krishna got headache once that he only produced.
Rohi Jagannath Leela.
Yeah, definitely. That is there. That's a Leela because Lord wants to receive service of Daitas. That's the whole purpose. He falls sick so that he can be with his devotees, Daitapatis, who are actually taking care of Need Mother. That is the whole purpose. So that Leela is for that. He is not actually sick. He's pretending to be one. So there is no material disease for the Lord. Then why is one saying like that? One may say, "Oh Krishna, may you live long. You have a long life." Arre, Krishna is Amar, he's Ajar, he's Ajanma, he's Adi Purusha. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. What blessing you are giving? Kaisa blessing there Bhagwan ko? And now one may say, "Krishna, may you become the strongest person in the world." Arre, he is already the strongest person. In fact, Balam Balavatam Chaham. He is the strength in everybody also. What can you give? Oh Krishna, may you have good fortune. Arre, he is husband of goddess of fortune. Kya good fortune doge? So what blessing can you give Krishna? We go to take blessings from Krishna. We go to receive Karunya Kataksha of Krishna. But still, because Krishna is playing Manushya Cheshta Apanno, he's playing a part of human being. There were some learned Brahmanas. As per their Shastric knowledge, they were giving Swasti Vachan to Krishna also. That is accepted here. Although it's contradictory, because such relative words cannot apply to the absolute truth. But still, because they are in connection with Krishna, they are accepted as transcendental. Just like, for example, Krishna steals butter. He is called Makanchor. Not only is called, he is worshipped as Makanchor. Yes. There are devotees with name also. Makanchor Das. Makanchor Leela Das. Like that they get names in initiation. Then Ranchod Rai. Ranchod Rai means coward. You're a coward person. Darpok. But no, Krishna is worshipped as Ranchod Rai. The one who ran away from the battlefield. Yes, he is worshipped like that. So anything that comes in contact with Krishna, it's not Bhushanam, it's Dushanam. It's not Dushanam, it's Bhushanam. It's not pollution, it is sweet. I will just end with one very beautiful verse of Brahma Mohan Leela. So that Brahma is praying. Now midyate abravapushe tadidambaraya gunjavatam saparipicchala sanmukhaya vanyasrije kavala vetra vishana venum lakshma shriye mrudupate pashupangajaya. So like a beautiful prayer he offers. And one of the places that he's meditating is Krishna's hand. Brahma is meditating on Krishna's hands, which contains rice particles and some fruit in between. One may say, "Arey, kya hai? Haath nahi dhoya, muh nahi dhoya." Kaisa hai muchi person? Will somebody go to receive someone like that? Abhi darwaje mein bell aata hai. Bell ring ho gaya. Will someone go like this to receive? Will someone go with his hands not washed, mouth not washed, hands not washed? No. One will ensure one is completely clean. जो प्लेट खा रहे हैं उसको भी छुपा के रखेंगे. सब कुछ साफ सुथरा. फिर उसके बाद yes, Who is it? Then we'll open the door. Whereas Brahmaji is meditating on that particles of rice which are there sticking to Krishna's hands, which you and I carry, it is Dushanam. But because it's connected to Krishna, it is Bhushanam. It's a jewel. It's an ornament. Okay, we'll pause here. Tomorrow we'll continue from 20th all the way up till shloka number 6. We'll take 17 verses tomorrow. Okay. Hare Krishna. Anybody wants to say some comment? Any quick comments? 1-2 minutes? Questions? If there are any. कुछ तो बोलिए, something that you liked, something you found relevant. Yes. Yashika Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Pranam.
Pranam.
Prabhuji, I have a question from chapter 9, verse 32.
Okay.
Actually,
No problem.
Prabhuji, in its purport, text 32, chapter 9, there is one line: unless one is purified from all sorts of material desires, the Lord does not become one's leader. So how to recognize that we have any material desire or not, or how is Krishna is leading us or not?
Nice question. Actually, Rishikesha, this word Rishikesh appears in Bhagavad Gita many times. So there, Rishikesh, in Prabhupada writes in word-to-word meaning, the Lord who controls the senses of his devotees. He mentions that very clearly. Similarly, here, Lord becoming our leader, our Pati, Bhagavan Satvatam Patihi. So that will happen when one is purified of all sorts of material desires. How to check if we have material desires or we don't have material desires? Well, the moment material desires are quite deep. Now it's easier to not indulge in material desires. That is called Vairagya. Vairagi is a person who doesn't indulge in material desires. The second is Virakta. Virakta doesn't see material objects as sense objects at all. So that is enjoyership mentality. But more difficult to give up than enjoyership mentality is the mentality to control. More difficult to give up the mentality to control is to give up the mentality of being a proprietor. More difficult than to be give up the mentality of proprietor is to give up the mentality of considering oneself to be a great deliverer of people, of others. That's more difficult. So each and every time the game will become subtle and subtle. So that is why it is very important that we have to realize this Bhoktaram Yajñatapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam Nyatva Shanti Mrichati. Because that Shanti, why that Shanti comes? Because of no material desires. Mukti, Mukti, Siddhi, Kami, Shakale, Ashanta. Why? Because they all have material desires. Krishna Bhakta Nishkama, he is Nishkama, he doesn't have material desires. That is why he is Shanta. And that Shanti will come only when we realize Bhoktaram Yajñatapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. How to realize this? By regular hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes. When we regularly hear Srimad Bhagavatam attentively in association of devotees like this, then we will realize the 5.29 of Bhagavad Gita. And then that Shanti, that Shashanti Apanoti Nattu Kama Kami. One who is not having material desires is completely peaceful. So that peace will be experienced. And in that peaceful state, bhakti can be practiced without any hindrance. Is that okay?
Prabhuji,
okay. Mataji, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Prabhuji, I have one more question.
Oh, yes, Mataji.
I will ask later.
Poonam Mataji, you can ask, then she will ask. In case
Sorry, Prabhuji, I was having this question from long time, but this belongs to last chapter.
No problem.
Prabhuji, Bhishmadev, Krishna asked Bhishmadev to give युधिष्ठिर महाराज उपदेश कि आगे जाके आपको किस तरीके से चीजें करनी है. तो that's the whole thing महाभारत में पूरा वो है, मतलब आचार्य बताते हैं. परंतु प्रभु जी मतलब भीष्म देव का एजुकेशन बहुत बड़े लोगों से हुआ था, मतलब देवताओं की बृहस्पति से हुआ था. ही वाज सच ए लर्नेड एंड इंटेलिजेंट पर्सन. फिर द्रौपदी के केस में वो क्यों नहीं बात कर पाए, मतलब वो मुझे वो नहीं समझ में आता प्रभु जी कि व्हाट वाज रेस्ट्रिक्टिंग हिम टू अनेबल टू टेक अ धर्मा साइड. आणि अभी वही चीज वो युधिष्ठिर महाराज को बहुत अच्छी तरीके से समझाते हैं. तो वो इंटेलिजेंस वहां कहा गया था. सॉरी प्रभु जी फॉर दिस क्वेश्चन.
No, this is a very frequently asked question. द्रौपदी के एपिसोड में सबकी बुद्धि कहाँ गई थी? So this Draupadi's episode, Krishna was not happy with anybody. He was not happy with anyone because they had forgotten Krishna. So that was one episode where the gambling is shown as such an activity that even if a pure devotee like Yudhishthir Maharaj, who is performing the gambling, and even such a pure devotee like Bhishma who is sitting there and is participating in the gambling, that's such a ghastly activity, it will make you forget Krishna. And then it can make a person do anything. That is the whole lesson behind that. Acharyas explain this. That was one episode where Pandavas were Krishna unconscious. So was Bhishma. So was everybody else. And Krishna was very upset. So that is the nature of gambling in this world.
So इसीलिए उनको शरपंजरी होना पड़ा क्या, मतलब that was a kind of punishment. मतलब he was such a pure soul, मतलब he loves Krishna like anything, but फिर भी उनका जो death हुआ था वो मतलब he has to go through all those pains basically, even if he was a pure devotee of the Lord. So that can be that might be a reason probably कि उनको इस तरीके का I don't know, मतलब because Krishna himself आए ना उनको देखने के लिए, मतलब he had भीष्मा के लास्ट टाइम में उनके नजरों के सामने भगवान थे. तो दैट वाज हिज द मतलब क्या बोल सकते हैं, दैट वाज लाइफ का ये है संपन्नता, पूर्णता.
माता जी एक तरीके से अगर कर्मकांड अंडरस्टैंडिंग देखे तो आप जैसे बोल रही है वैसे होता है, लेकिन आचार्य डोंट एक्सप्लेन लाइक दैट. देखिए शुद्ध भक्त के लिए अप्रारब्ध फलम पापम कूटम बीजम अविक्लवम क्रमेणेव प्रलीयेत विष्णु भक्ति रतात्मनाम. A pure devotee is prarabdha, aprarabdha, everything is destroyed. So Bhishma, see, when will one suffer? One suffers because of karma. But the karma hai nahi na. Bhishma Dev doesn't have that. How can he suffer then? So his suffering is will of Lord, nothing else. Lord wanted to show that my devotee is beyond bodily concept of life. My devotee will speak Bhagavatam even if it is paining for him. In Sharashaya, sitting here also he will speak Bhagavatam. And itna sab kuch, after sleeping on Sharashaya also, he has never developed a tinge of negativity also towards Krishna or towards anyone. So that
Prabhuji, can we
Bhishma wanted to be portrayed. Yeah, yes, bro.
Prabhuji, can we say that even his forgetfulness was actually will of Krishna during that gambling?
Yes, obviously. That gambling nature of gambling wanted to be shown up. Yeah.
Yes.
Nature of the gambling activity had to be shown up to all of us for lessons for sadhakas or for worldly people like us. So that is the reason the ghastly nature of gambling is shown where you forget Krishna. Everybody. Yeah. You all forgot Krishna. So never stay away from this activity. 4 regs. You have to be very, very strong in following 4 regulative principles. Yeah. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, this is well known that this was Krishna's plans to forget to have effect of gambling. So my question, just clarification, is it the effect of Yogamaya? Krishna covered them by Yogamaya, or it was really the forgetfulness of Krishna because of Maya? What was actually to understand it? By being
a devotee can never be touched by Mahamaya. A devotee is always touched by Yogamaya only. This is very clear. Shastras explain very clearly. That it's the effect of Yogamaya for devotee. Yeah.
So how can devotee divert due to Yogamaya, Mata Prabhuji?
Oh, devotee is under Yogamaya means he acts under the direction of what Krishna wants, right? So pure devotee is simply sold out servant. Krishna, मुझे क्या करना है? Krishna says, okay, right now मेरे को भूलना है, gambler बनना है. Pure devotee does that. Fine, I will get into gambling. इससे क्या होगा? इससे all other sadhakas will get lesson that the four regulative principle activities are so very sinful that one will completely forget Krishna. Even if you are pure devotee, oh, so we have to be careful. So sadhakon ko acha lesson milega. Just like previously also I had mentioned that the the mother-in-law will teach the daughter-in-law through her daughter. So Bhagwan is mother-in-law. The pure devotees who are sold out servants of Lord are the daughters. And we conditioned Jivatmas, we are daughter-in-law. So we are learning through the daughters. Daughter has made no mistake. But the mother-in-law is teaching all of us through them. Okay?
Prabhuji, like Lord Shiva also, he became mad after Mohini Murti, but that is the will of. And then Shiva was also not, he was appreciating the Lord, how great Lord is.
Yes,
after
yes.
that.
That is actually an highest example of spiritual pride. Highest example of spiritual pride, Shiva. Beautiful lecture given by His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj. He speaks that in that section. Shiva, the example of spiritual pride. So there he has explained. But ultimately Shiva wanted to prove the supremacy of Lord because he had taken the poison. And the whole world may think that I am the Supreme Lord. No, I want to prove that I am subordinate to my Lord. He is my Lord, I am simply a puppet. So that's why he agrees to play a part in this Leela. We'll do one thing, we'll officially close. Those who wish to ask questions or listen to the answers can stay back. We'll officially end here. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Samast Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki Jai. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Yeah. Now whoever wishes to ask can stay back and ask. I have no problem.
I have read two things. That one is that when during the gambling, like the Kauravas took Shakuni with them because he used to cheat, and so the Pandavas should have taken Krishna because he is the greatest cheater. So that was one mistake. And second thing I have read that Bhishma, why he had to lay on the bed of arrows because he had thrown one chameleon in the thorns. So that was the reaction to that karma. So is that correct?
Second one is not acceptable because I have not heard anything like that because a pure devotee cannot have karma. This is very clear.
In some previous life he had done that. So that's what I have read. And that people also say like that.
One chanting of holy name, it finishes off one Sanchit karma altogether. So how can that karma exist, the traces? These are all some examples created by karma kandis just to justify. Like some of them they say, because Ram killed Vali, so next life he became hunter Jara who killed Krishna. But there is no connection at all. Vali went back to Godhead. And the Jara was Bhrigu Muni. So some karma kanda fellows, they create such theories. Bhishmadev is a Mahajan from the spiritual world. Yes, he doesn't have any material karma. And the first question, considering Pandavas going for the gambling match with Krishna, that's a very good, nice option. We can suggest Pandavas next time to take care. Nice. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Mataji, your last question. Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, what is the process of creating Sushma Sharir, I mean subtle body?
How the Sukshma Sharir is created?
Yes.
Okay. Sukshma Sharir, which means you're asking me the process of creation, how Sukshma Sharir was formed. That you're asking, or how is subtle body?
I mean, we are creating.
Oh, we are creating continuously, correct. With every different thought, our subtle body is changing. Thinking, willing, and feeling. This controls the mind. This you can read in the characteristics and functions of, I'll just show you one section. Read in detail. 1 minute. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Vikaraha. 1 minute. This is the procedure that is explained. There is Mithya Ahankar. The false ego is the root cause. The false ego in goodness makes the mind. The false ego in the passion, it creates intelligence and senses. The false ego in the mode of ignorance, it produces the in ignorance, it produces all the tanmatras, Shabda, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Sparsha, and it produces the 5 elements, Panch Mahabhut. All these things it produces. So the major formation of the subtle body, the material body, will keep happening. We find in this section the root cause is the false ego, Mithya Ahankar. So till the time this Mithya Ahankar is not purified, the subtle body will keep forming in this world. The person will keep forming different subtle bodies. That will happen. So our goal is to attack, the whole goal of bhakti is to attack that Mithya Ahankar, the false ego. Attack there. And thus that false ego is purified. Then one will not have the subtle body formation. And the process of burning up the subtle body, that is also mentioned. Yeah, selected. Second canto it comes. Yeah. See, bhakti, devotion service, dissolves the subtle body of the living entity without separate effort, just as fire in the stomach digests all that we eat. So that's our goal. Jarayatyu Ashiya Kosham Jigirno Analoyatha. Jigirnam. Our goal is not to transform the subtle body, our goal is to burn away the material subtle body through bhakti. Okay? That's a permanent change we have to make. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. There are some announcements for all of you.
We have on WhatsApp group. So
okay, very nice.
just in the chat app.
Okay, thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. We'll meet tomorrow.